just because of the fire. So it's very, very worrisome to us. This is right across the street from Building 7. This is Building 6. And you see again where the debris is falling. American Express building, and this is again a piece of steel from the North Tower. And went there to look at what took place. No structural damage or consequence in the building, but all of the fireproofing in this area was removed by this event. And it was, I suppose, just the impact and the vibration of the steelwork that shook off the fireproofing. So there's a lot of talk about making more robust fireproofing systems. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a believer in designing buildings for aircraft impact, so I'm not advocating spending a lot of money to make that possible. That's the Winter Garden, designed by the architect Cesar Kelly, led into Battery Park City. And this end of it was pretty badly damaged. This used to be a bridge across the street. The other end, however, was in impeccable condition. Very dirty, but not damaged at all. So here we look at what was left of the South Tower. This is looking towards the south and east. The photographs were taken, if the National Guard caught you with a camera, they took the film. So sometimes the color balance is a little bad on these pictures because I was had in my shirt and stuff like that. Really relatively superficial damage to the buildings across the street, but still months before these buildings will be in operation. Now, this structure is in some ways, strangely beautiful. We had it when the bombing in '93. We hired an architect and his wife to assist us in some areas, and he stayed on work for us until 3 years ago. His wife's still in our employ, and they were having coffee on the 80th floor of the North Tower in the plane deck. So she walked out. This is a bucket brigade. I mean, these people are taking debris out of here and passing it back and dumping it in order to look for people. Extraordinary dangerous work. All this remember now is the Sunday after the fact. Actually, this was the sort of regular path that everyone went through. We looked up and saw this kind of stuff. It's inside of Building 6. Steelwork came down and sort of created an atrium inside the building. This is Building 3, the hotel. And the executives from the Port Authority left the North Tower following the impact. They were all located in the high 40s. They walked out, and they collected in the lobby of the Vista Hotel. The Marriott Hotel, I guess. Thank you, Marriott Hotel. They were in this building when it collapsed on top of them. And they all survived. I mean, we had put in a transfer girder at this level, which somehow arrested the collapse. Inside the core of the connections, we call them semi-rigid. They were designed to stabilize the columns from buckling, so it was kind of like a rigid frame, but with lots of eccentricity. But you could see the welds did pretty good. They behaved as well as one could expect, I think. It's a typical column splice. You saw this everywhere. This is one of those 3 column-wide panels is the inside face of the building. This is the outside face. And clearly, because it was so common, the panel tipped out of the building, and as it tipped out, these bolts, of course, went into high tension and failed. And when you stuck your hand inside it, you could find the bolts, which is not easy because often they were way up inside the column. Classical tension failure in the bolts. The ones on the outside face, because it was rotating, they bent over and then cracked. So you saw this combination, very common. These connections were made with either 4 or 6 bolts and either 325 or 490 volts. This kind of column was low in the building in the service floor. You see this 4-inch thick plate, and either hit something or was hit by something and fell. Not due to some aircraft, but it's due to the building collapsing. Hotel is here. This is South Tower. Here you see one of those prefabricated elements now dangling off of the construction. There's no support. Those of you who are not in the construction business might not understand this red stuff on the outside. If you're ever around a high-rise building, you see it's on fire, don't stand there and look at it. Leave. Because the fire causes the glass to break. When the glass breaks, it kind of floats down through the air. You travel long distances horizontally, and it sort of floats, and then it floats, and so on. So if you get hit by a piece of glass, you might not survive. So this is just to keep the glass from sort of tinkles down inside of the netting and doesn't go outside. Building immediately to the south had some pieces hit it, removed this column. Pretty big. This is a big controversy. This is building 6, and they wanted to demolish it by working from west to east. And we said, well, nobody knows how strong that building is now, and it's holding up this steelwork from the north tower. And so demolished this first and then go for the building. They added about 2 weeks onto the demolition time, but I think it was worth it because no one really knew what would happen if you just went ahead and demolished the work. Go down to the basement. Now this is, remember the bomb in 1993? So this is that same construction again. You see the box column, these are 4-inch heavy columns. Some of them up to the 80 and 90 yield material. You see, when they tipped, the whole wall tipped over, as you saw in the photograph. Sometimes fracture out large blocks of the steel like this. This steel was not particularly ductile. It wasn't intended to be taking any great lateral force. The lateral force went down through the diagonal system. So there was no intent that there be any bending or anything of that sort in these columns. This building was done by the architect Cass Gilbert. It's a terracotta facade, and it looks now as though it's going to be saved. I know that if it were to be taken down, there would be people lying in the streets. It's a beautiful old building in Lower Manhattan. One of 4 or 5 or 6 buildings done by architect Cass Gilbert. So I used to have this office. If you get around into the basement areas, which got about 6 or 8 feet of water almost right away, you went by boat, but it was pretty uncertain as what was down there. This guy is not a scuba diver. We went down with air tanks because of the concern about the quality of the air itself, not because of we're going to go diving or something. We noticed that there's no motor. That is the motor in our oars because, again, there was no desire to have sparks or anything burning down there. Because when you were down there, you have to remember above you, the project was on fire for months. So we were down at the B1 level, and one of the firefighters said, I think you'd be interested in this, and they pulled off a big block of concrete, and there was like a little river of steel flowing. This is what's left of one part of the TV tower that used to be on the North Tower. In fact, this is south of the project. The slurry wall was built with the tieback system. The light lines were the old tiebacks, which were long ago de-stressed, of course, and new tiebacks were put in place for the dark limits. Pretty conventional system. There have been some scary moments down there with the slurry wall. I'm sure it will never be used in the future as structure. It will just be used as an outside form for the construction of a new wall. The SC FEMA team, or I guess I should say FEMA SC team, in New Jersey, at one of the junkyards, you can see the steel was just piled up in a tangled mess. To the extent the steel has been found which was near the site or at the site where the plane struck, that steel's been removed. I guess it's going to NIST to has a multi-million-dollar contract to look into the issues. There was one professor from another university who had set aside a piece of steel, which he said was from the impact area, and he was very proud of it. It had an aluminum piece of the airplane on it. But I looked at it, and as you can imagine, every piece of steel has a number on it. And you don't just look at it and say, well, I think that might go on the 37th floor. You have to know where it goes. So it was a piece of steel from the 44th floor, which is rather far from the impact area, and the aluminum work was, in fact, part of the facade. Again, Pascal design. Wonderful architect. And then there are two major churches in Lower Manhattan. Most of you go there, go to Trinity Church, which is at the foot of Wall Street. But if you walk just a little bit north, you'll come to this lovely, lovely chapel. And following the collapse of the towers, it was in absolutely terrible shape. But terrible shape because it was covered with gravel and soot and cement and paper and pieces of typewriters and computers, but not a single piece of glass was broken. And I suppose this is the last photo, and took this from New Jersey. You're looking right down through the elevator shaft, the corridor walls, I'm sorry. The skin's in place, glass is in place. It's essentially a building that could be occupied. So to give you an idea of how light and airy these high-rise buildings really are. So it varies a lot, but somewhere between 7 and 12 pounds a cubic foot is what high-rise buildings weigh compared to steel. So there you have it. I had one thought that maybe a lot of people have talked about these people who ran into the building and how I felt about it, how I feel about it. And I worked a lot in the Muslim world, and I have a lot of respect for them. And I think that somehow the world's gone awry on giving a political opinion, and that is that we've gone into Afghanistan looking for a man who might not even have been there. Now there's talk about going into Iraq or someplace. And I know, I'm totally confident, that this problem of the Muslim world hating us and hating Israel is not going to go away until we deal with the fundamental issues. And once we've made peace with the Muslim world, and I don't know how to do that, I know that's right, it's not going to be solved. The problem will be with us for several generations as this hatred somehow goes away. So anyway, if you have questions, I'll be happy to. all very political. And then it was moved to the west side of Manhattan in order to bring the state of New Jersey into the act. It was built on the site of the PATH system, Port Authority Trans-Hudson Railroad. There were two large buildings on the site which were demolished for the Trade Center, which was the station. The original architects had conceived of a kind of a Maginot Line 60-story building on the site. And Yamasaki came up with the idea of two towers to get the required area that was needed. Originally, the plan was like 80-story buildings. We worked on ideas for 80-story buildings, and then it became 100-story buildings, and we worked on ideas for 100-story buildings, and in fact, obtained a commission on the basis of 100-story buildings, and then they became 110-story buildings, all the time to try to get more real estate out of the project. So it was not a decision on the part of lowly people like me. It was done by great people with lots of money. The Rockefellers and people like that.
Size and location of the stairs. Can you comment on that?
The location of the stairs.
And the size of the space.
Okay. The building code at the time in New York City required in the towers, let's talk about the towers first, required two stairs. The exit widths are established by code. And a decision which I had absolutely nothing to do with, Port Authority decided to put in 3 stairs. And so they added actually 50% onto the total exit width. As you probably understand, at the top of the building, the stairs are narrower. As you go down, they get bigger and bigger and wider, I should say. To the best of my knowledge, and I've talked to a lot of people, to the best of my knowledge, the stairs worked extremely well. Now, part of that was because in the bombing of 1993, a lot of things did not work. First of all, the stairs were full of smoke and soot. Subsequent to that, Port Authority redid all the stairs, put in striping in the stairs to show how to get down, completely redid the audio communication systems, took the central computer, which was outdated, spread it around, brought it up to date, took the emergency generators that were all in one place, spread them around the project, and so forth. And to the best of my knowledge, the stairs worked extremely well. Now, nobody knows what those stairs were like but if you go into the low buildings around the outside, which burned out, and you go to a stair, it's a blackened mess, and you can in fact take the gypsum off with your fingers. But interestingly enough, the doors would open, you could go inside the stair, and it was white, painted white. And occasionally you'd see a little black tail at the top of the shaft wall partition where a little smoke had gotten into the stair. But clearly they worked extremely well. So I presume that in the towers they worked extremely well also, below the impact of it.
I was watching a video on the firemen that were going in, and if I remember correctly, they were predicting it would have taken an hour and a half or to go up the stairs. And I was wondering if that is how.
Okay. In New York City, firemen do not use the elevators. They walk up. Now, some of you are probably pretty good at condition, and you can do that to the top of the Trade Center in a whole lot faster than an hour and a half. But the firemen are carrying a lot of equipment, and they generally go about 3 or 4 floors, and they stop and rest. And they go 3 or 4 more, and they stop and rest. And a part of that, I think, is to reduce the incidence of heart attack in firemen. I think it's probably a prudent thing to do. I happen to know, I did it in 27 minutes on the Saturday morning following the 93 bombing. I went up to the top of the building to look at the equipment that measures the swaying motion of the building. There's accelerometers there, and I didn't have the key, so I knocked the door off its hinges and went inside. But building didn't move enough to trigger the recording system. So there's no recording made. I have no idea the accuracy of the number that you just stated. I wouldn't know. But every year there was a race, of course. I don't know. They did it in 10 minutes or something like that.
I'm not a structural engineer, I'm a double A, but I have read recently that some of the methods used for testing structural components in tall buildings are nearly a century old. Is there progress being made to improve testing techniques?
We're talking about 1902. I don't know that there's a piece of equipment around that tests structures that's that old. Do you know of anything that old? Do you have anything at Stanford that's I see last year. No, they heard that same report and they said no, I don't think so. I think that's probably not an accurate measure of what's going on.
There's a tension tester at Black Ass taking Butte Black Ass.
Just 100 years old? Yeah, okay, well, I mean, there's some things that are pretty fundamental. I mean, the thing that you lift your car up, called a jack, hasn't changed in 100 years. So they're a fundamental thing. So I don't dispute that there are, but realistically, the equipment that's used today is entirely different. And, of course, heavily dependent on your discipline for it. In fact, any good structural engineer who does research becomes an electrical engineer right off the bat. Isn't that right? I mean, you can't maintain the equipment. They don't call your department to fix it.
I'm not an engineer of any kind, so I can't apologize if my question sounds naive. But it appears that not only the walls of the World Trade Center, but every building around there are parallel. If they're parallel, they can't all be vertical. So one wall or some might be vertical, but all can't be vertical. And part B of my question is the floor flat or level?
I must say, I don't understand your question. There are,
If they're vertical, they have to be radiated to the earth. So
I see parallel. Oh, you're talking about the convergence. Oh, no, actually, the dimension at the top and the dimension at the bottom is exactly the same. They are not, the walls are not perpendicular to the theoretical surface, but I don't know what the convergence is. Anybody know? Somebody got that answer just like that?
About a tenth of a foot or so.
In the height of the building?
Yeah.
Is it that much? I'm surprised it's that much. But anyway, it is what it is. These are square cylinders. They do not taper at all. So they are then not perpendicular to the surface of the earth, if that's what you're saying. Absolutely not. I don't think anyone would recommend going the other way.
What about the base? It's level.
Okay, now level and flat. First of all, there's nothing in structures that is either level or flat or perpendicular or vertical. Everything has a tolerance. So the technique for making the floors of a building, you get out a laser level, and you see the little, I see the little dot running around, except it runs around absolutely level, right? And the floors are screened to that level. So it's then perpendicular to the device, which may or may not be perpendicular to the earth. But I mean, if you get the floor within, let's say half an inch, you're doing pretty good. So I don't think that the fact that it's either parallel or not to the surface of it has any real significance in the building.
I apologize if I missed you talking about this, but what is the foundation?
Foundations here?
Yeah.
Wow, it's fantastic. In concept, the slurry wall went down to what's called mica schist. It's extremely strong rock. Then all the material inside was removed. Well, not all of it, but almost all of it. And the foundations are built right on top of the rock. It's extremely strong. which has assets and liabilities. The asset is the kind of size of the footing is pretty small. The liability is in softer materials, you get a certain amount of damping from the softer materials, which you don't get with this rock, which is very elastic.
Could you describe a little bit more about the procedure that you used to design for the impact of the airplane to the towers?
The question is, how do we design for the impacts of the 707? The kind of computer programs that are now available to do that sort of thing were definitely not available at that time. The technique that we used was to make an assumption about a structure that was to be removed, and then we would do a very slow dynamic analysis, right? So increment at a time dynamic analysis of the behavior of the structure of the outside wall. Inside of the services core, basically we took the assumption that the engines, remember these were 707, so they had 4 engines that were rather smaller than the engines of the 767, quite a bit smaller. We just calculated estimated, better way to put it, we estimated the energy required to bend the column out of the way, and then we would subtract that from the velocity energy of the engine and until it stopped. And so we just assumed all those columns were removed. And again, it's sort of very slow dynamic analysis. We had one thing that was very useful, and